Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Khurshid Law Chamber UK. I'm here to give you some recent update on earned settlement and asylum matters, which has been a top news in the last 1 week. As you all probably know, that the Home Secretary has announced that asylum seekers will not be granted initial leave to remain 5 years. Instead, they will be granted 2.5 years. And secondly, after 5 years, they will not be granted settlement. They have to wait for 20 years. And during this period, they will review the asylum claim. And if the country of origin is safe, they have to go back to their country. Again, the Home Secretary announced that there will be change on settlement system. Mainly what she said, that the settlement is not a right, it's a privilege. You have to earn it based on your contribution to the society, your income, your suitability, etc. So it's not that if someone is lawfully resided in this country, they will be granted a settlement after 10 years or something. So you have to go through all the contribution they are expecting from you, like integration to the society, contribution for the society, all are relevant. And in suitability, if you have any criminal record, you will not be granted settled status or settlement or indefinite leave to remain, irrespective of how many years you are in the UK. So now it will be very stricter rules. You must be a suitable person. You must be with clean records of your residence in the UK. There shouldn't be any litigation against you, NHS, tax, or other government debt. So it will be very strict requirements for someone to be successful for indefinite leave to remain. As part of the integration, English language requirement, they have planned to increase it from B1 to B2. And life in the UK test has to be passed, and they will probably upgrade the life in the UK test elements. The contribution, what they are minimum looking for, that you have to contribute at least £12,570 for a minimum of 3 to 5 years, in line with the current threshold. So that's the suitability, integration, and contribution. This is now a part of the settlement, so you have to go through. And they also increase the settlement times, the baseline time, from 5 years to 10 years. It was before, for most of the skilled worker category road, after 5 years they could apply for indefinite leave to remain. This is not a case anymore, though it is not final yet. This is consultation process, but most likely it will be done finally. So 10 years will be baseline years for skilled worker to get settlement. But there is some difference. You'll get reward. For example, if you have a C1 level English language, you will get 1 year reduction from the 10 years. So in that case, you'll be granted indefinite 9 years time. And in terms of contribution of money, if you have earnings more than £125,000 for 3 years before the settlement, then you'll get the 7 years reduction. So you'll be granted settlement in 3 years time. And if you have earnings more than £50,000 for 3 years, you'll get 5 years reduction, and you'll be eligible to apply for indefinite after 5 years. And those are employed in a specific public service occupation for 5 years. Frontline public service holder, there is a 5 years reduction, so they'll be granted after 5 years. Those who work in the community volunteering, there is also 3 to 5 years reduction from the 10 years. And for British citizen partner or child of a British citizen, they will be also granted 5 years reduction. But this is not a subject to any consultation. Other things, as I said, it is subject to consultation. And some of the applicants, like those are holder of global talent worker or innovator founder, they will get 7 years reduction from the 10 years, so they are eligible to apply for indefinite after 3 years. So as I mentioned, this process now under consultation, and if the consultation is go ahead as planned, the most of the categories of applicants will be granted or eligible to be granted for settlement after 10 years, but there is a reduction based on the contribution. I didn't say yet there is a penalty as well. So if you get the penalty, then you will not get any reduction. Instead, you will get some more period plus. For example, if any of the applicants, as mentioned above, they have received any public funds in 12-month time or less than the 12-month period, so they have to wait for 10 plus 5 years, 15 years. And if they receive the public funds for more than a year, so they will be fined for another 10 years. So 10 years plus 10 years, 20 years. So those are receiving public funds for some reasons based on their personal circumstances. In some cases, they are eligible to apply for remove the public funds condition, and if this is the case, they have to wait for 5 or 10 years depending on how long period they're receiving the public funds. There is also penalty if you are arrived in the illegally. For example, small boat, you'll get 20 years penalty. So think about 10 years plus 20 years. 30 years you have to wait. If you entered in the UK on visit visa, then overstayed, you'll get the 20 years penalty. So you have to wait for 30 years. And those overstayed in the UK more than 6 months or 6 months, they're also subject to 20 years penalty. So they have to 20 years will be added to their baseline of 10 years. So they will be subject to 30 years. They have to wait for 30 years to be eligible to apply for indefinite leave to remain, subject to, as I mentioned, that their suitability, integration, and contribution all will be subject to their indefinite leave to remain application in the UK. So this is a big change, massive change, significant change in the history of this country's immigration system. And I already told you that for asylum seekers, they will not be granted indefinite after 5 years, and they will not be granted initial leave for 5 years leave to remain. Instead, they will be granted 2.5 years, and it will be 2.5 year extension until 20 years if their situation is not changed. If the situation is changed to their country, if they are safe, they have to go back to their country of origin. So if you need any further information, contact us, Khurshid Law Chamber UK, or contact number 07828694424. Our address 37 New Road, London E1 1HE. You can visit our website www.khurshidlawchamberuk.com. Thank you so much.